the simple, that beware of deceitful lips, for with words they lead the simple away. The first thing was to find out who these simple people are. They are the bald, they are the inexperienced, they are the socially inadequate, they are the people that don't know much about life.
Them say. If you want any more advice on this issue, because I know that you might want to share everything here, please slide into either one of our DMs and tell us what the issue is, and then we can find a way to, we can table it here even, maybe next week, but we will not mention your name. We will know how to fashion the story out. All right? Thank you. Okay. So more social moral manipulation is a very big matter. I'm going to give us another 10 minutes to talk it out. But I want to know how far, the degrees of it, because you've given the example of lying about your age, you know, lying about small, well, supposedly small things like, you know, having miscarriages and stuff. But how bad can it go? What are the layers that your pillars of social moral manipulation that you would like to expose to us?
I know that you're a good girl. And the good girls are the easiest target for bad boys because they are naive. I was at a place where in the university we were sharing with my friends, and you know, this is the weirdest, but it is true. The guy had been toasting this girl and toasting, and you know, the good girl was like, this, that. So one day they were together. She really liked him, but you know, she was a good girl, so they hugged, and it was a passionate moment. He kissed her and he wanted to go further, and she said no, that she cannot do that. This, it has to be done the proper way. And he just put his hand on his head and said, you have killed me. And she said, what happened? He said, yeah, so this is how I'm going to die. But anyway, it's because of you, Sha, I will die. And she was like, what happened? And he started shaking his head, Olumide, you shouldn't have, sorry, I'm using my name. Olumide, you shouldn't have done that. Jeez. And she kept saying, what happened? So he got up as he was leaving, and I said, goodbye. Please help me greet. And she said, what's going on? Are you going to die and all that? I was like, yes, that it's biological, Sha. And she said, what? He said, you know, as men, if you have an erection without, and it doesn't lead to sex, it will cut the blood supply to this cord and the person might die. And the girl now said, so what he said, then when we were touching, you know, I had an erection, and the girl said, so now you are going to die? Said, yes. Said, but why? He just said, don't worry. The girl now held him and said, so if so that you won't die now, that was how we had sex with her, because she didn't want him to die that night. He convinced her that it is biological, that once there's an erection, sex must follow, or the person would die. I had never heard it before. And it worked on the girl that I knew. because she was so clueless. And he knew. And that was how he disvirgined her that night. And that is how he had kept sleeping with her. And I'm staring that, can anybody believe this? Oh, said, well, now so we say Amu. He's an Igbo chap. And I was like, my God, I couldn't have even thought, you know, I would think of maybe you drugged her or you, but not using, I'd never even thought anyone would fall for that in my entire life. I never even heard the line before.
Barrister Olumide Omosebi. You see, there's only so much I can take on this show. Okay. Let's
now
move on from this one very quickly.
I'm moving. I'm just showing you the levels. Social manipulation. Taking your weakness and using against you. Taking your proclivities, what you respect. I know you're a Christian. Okay, if you want to get her, na church, she should be church girl. So
yeah,
you go. I told you about someone who liked a girl, and he knew na church girl. He joined her church. Later joined her department. There is no way you will be in the same department in church and you will not at least greet each other. That's how they started greeting. And after a while, he told her that, you know, he's been praying and fasting, and God told him that you are my wife. Are you sure? Kiniko. Their HOD, on hearing this, was so happy. Two people in ushering department. Oh yeah, our pastor was here. Baba was here. Pastor heard. Pastor was ecstatic. In fact, the church sponsored 50% of the wedding, only for her to get married. On the second day of the marriage, the guy now calls her to the, parlor and just says, listen, I've got something to tell you. She's like, what? And he says, I'm a Muslim. I only joined your church because of the love I have for you. But I'm a Muslim. But there's no problem. You can go to church. I will not stop you. But the only issue is that our children must be Muslims. And she's like, what kind of joke is this? You that you speak in tongues and you pray for. He said, I learned everything in church. I learned all those speaking in tongues from the church and all those. And that is how she found out that after spending over 4 million naira in the wedding, that she got married to a Muslim. But the issue, when I was told, I was like, didn't you go to even check his family? Didn't you go to visit the family? You would have seen that everybody in the family were Muslims, his friends, Muslims, didn't you? But no, it was a spiritual courtship. They met in church, they would do all those, all those things. So she never really found out. And that is why I'm telling you that your weakness is what it often is manipulated to get you to do what they want, especially in relationships.
So how do I avoid it?
How do you avoid it?
Yes.
I remember when I was in Inspiration FM, the first thing I told you about getting into a relationship is to know yourself. Man, know thyself, and to thyself be true. Know your weaknesses, know your strengths. The second step is to build your boundaries. Tell yourself the extent to which you will go with any man. If it passes this, I am not doing. So by the time a man comes and this, that, you have already built a boundary and you have told yourself that some things I will not do. Once it is beginning to sound like it, you already have yourself moving back. Another thing is men going after financially secure women. You would meet a guy, he will tell you,
don't get me started.
Yes, he will tell you he's the CEO of this. He started all those CEOs that don't have an office. All those MD that I'm looking for investment. all those businessmen that you cannot see what their business is all about. And they come to you, and after the next thing is to tell you that there's one investment. I just need like 700,000 naira.